Okay, we're here in the third and final match of the day, and this is definitely a keep. Very nice hand. All right, hoping for that Eldrazi. Not open for the Abzan. Blue mana, please. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is a favorable matchup for us, definitely. Absolutely. So we're going to go Cliffs number 2 and just quickly Wild Slash that Leaf Gilder. Next turn we're going to go Aggregate, and then we're going to go Pia and Kieran Nalaar. Eldrazi deck does seem to be very popular at the moment, and it's a cool deck. I think it's very good. Okay. Nissa. So. No blue mana from our opponent yet. Curiously. So if I'd played an untapped land, I could have Wild Slash and I would have a hanger back out right now. But I wouldn't have been able to pump my hanger back, so it's not like it's a huge deal. Although my Vile Aggregate would be bigger. It's still not a very big deal. Especially when you consider I'm going to be able to go Pia and Kieran Nalaar into hanger back and then throw my hanger back at something. You have to have 7 or 6 lands, I forget. I think it's 6. Oh, 7. Okay. Well, opponent can just ramp plus play a land and then flip Nissa, but I can just kill Nissa too. What did I get rid of? I actually wouldn't have... Well, I was going to say I wouldn't have minded if my opponent drew a Radiclaw Mystic, but that's not necessarily true. So it looks like... Oh, opponent's got the Mystic anyway. I think we actually want to kill the Radiclaw Mystic, because Radiclaw Mystic actually does a good job of ramping for my opponent here. So I think the play is actually hanger back just as 2. Attack with everything. And yes, I realize I'm giving up P and Kieran Nalaar here, but that's actually just fine. Okay, so now we use Pia and Kieran Nalaar to kill Radiclaw Mystic. Get Nissa off the board and just my opponent. Get rid of a Shrine. So opponent's off blue, does not have a Radiclaw Mystic. Whisperwood is still beatable. Explosive Vegetation, okay. So my opponent's going to get to Ugin mana, not good enough. They're not quite at Ulamog yet either. Guess I would prefer the Flyer gets equipped here. My opponent can Lightning Bolt it with an Ugin, but we still... Ugin's not good enough, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Nissa, sure. Ugin can do nothing on this board. My opponent cannot play Ulamog. Even if they could, that wouldn't be good enough. Drowner of Hope is actually pretty good, but I presume not quite good enough. Although, well, I guess he's got to tap 2 of our flyers. So what happens if well, let's just play the second aggregate, because why not? And then this begs the question. Let's say I equip my Vile Aggregate, and I swing with... He still has to tap 2 of our flyers. So I think I do actually equip the aggregate here. And then I can swing with it. My opponent, like I said, is forced to tap 2 of our blockers, or they are very dead. And the fact that this has trample is pretty important here. Like, I don't really see a way they can get out of this. 100% they have to tap. He has to tap 2 Thopters right now. Which means he's still dead because, yeah, wow. Wowzers. That was insane. Okay. So against this deck, roasts are fantastic. Wild Slash is great. We want the impulses. We want the disdainful strokes. Ghostfire Blade is pretty irrelevant for the most part. I mean, it was good there, I admit. But I think for the most part, and Dig Through Time is typically too slow too, as is the Hangerback Walkers. All right, let's make some smart decisions here. We want all the spot removal, not the Arc Lightning and Radiant Flames, but we do want these. And I think we don't really care about Ghostfire Blades so much. I think we can cut a Walker, we can cut the Digs, because they're just too slow. I kind of like the impulses and slashes because slashes can burn face. I still like the roasts, but that seems like too much removal. Why don't we cut an impulse? Maybe we just need impulse, 4 slashes, 4 roasts. That seems good to me. The only reason the Hangerback's slightly worse in this match is just because it's a bit slow. Same as like the Dig Through Times. That's actually a decent argument for Ghostfire Blade, now that I think about it. That's okay. This looks fine. Let's try this. Yeah, we got to keep this. So we can stop the Whisperwood. It's a fine draw. Hangerback. Wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I haven't seen that in the Eldrazi lists. Vile Aggregate Whirler Rogue are so fantastic together, too. What a fantastic way to push damage through. You don't have a second blue mana for Whirler Rogue yet. That could pose a problem. We're just saving Roast for Whisperwood or Drowner of Hope, I guess. But Drowner of Hope's not the best Roast target. There's a chance 4 Roast is overkill, too. Pretty good chance, to be honest. But so I could go Hangerback, pump Hangerback here. trying to think how I feel about that. I probably just like swinging and playing aggregate instead, I think. Offer the trade. Not interested. All right. Vile aggregate. Pass. So if opponent plays Whisperwood, we get to go Hangerback, Roast, Whisperwood, which is pretty insane, actually. Explosive Vegetation. Okay. So that's going to let my opponent get slightly more profitable here. Like a blue mana. Chief of the Foundry. Actually, not that bad. I guess the play is aggregate. Swing with aggregate. Does give him a couple flyers. I don't think they're a big deal at all. He's not interested. You got it. Rattleclaw Mystic. So opponent is still 3 lands from Ulamog. And just a mana away from Ugin, who, like I said, is much less of a big deal. Nissa, okay. So Nissa's going to flip. All right, now opponent is much closer to Ulamog. Just putting a blocker out there. That's interesting. I would have expected my opponent wanting card advantage there. Okay. Opponent's got pretty good little setup now. Let's not forget to pump here. Okay, so I guess the play is Roast plus Hangerback, so our guys are 4/5, so I guess that means we play the Roast on the Drowner. See what he does. Alright, I think my opponent's just straight up going to cast Ulamog next turn, which is going to be a problem. But problem we, in fact, cannot deal with at the moment. So the question is, do I swing at Nissa or do I swing at my opponent? I think that's tough. I think we got to push damage through on our opponent, to be honest. But also I'm not completely sure how I am going to beat Ulamog. I think we just attack my opponent. My opponent's going to get card advantage off Nissa, but we're going to have to race Ulamog, which is quite difficult, as you might imagine, because I think he's just going to play Ulamog and kill our Vile Aggregates. So then we're going to be left with some Hangerbacks here. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good block for you. So we'll take out the token. Get in for 4. So I guess our opponent's going to play Ulamog, exile Aggregate in our Hangerback. And then we're going to have to try and race with Whirler Rogue seems difficult. We do have a Chief of the Foundry, though. It is theoretically possible to race this. Difficult, but possible. Oh no, just happened to get Ulamog off the top. That did not work so well for me. Could have had one in hand. I mean, the deck runs 4 of them, right? But I just assumed they had it. And now there was just no question. Okay, take out the hangerbacks. All right, I wasn't expecting that. All right, so go Whirler Rogue. Still raceable. Still raceable, mind you. Not likely raceable, but possibly raceable. All right. We can't, I mean, we just don't have time to attack Nissa, quite frankly. So you can also activate Lumbering Falls. That's something we're going to have to remember here. I mean, we're also not exactly dead to Ulamog in 2 attacks. Yeah, we're going to let him get the Nissa. And then get a legendary or draw another card. I kind of feel like I need to Wild Slash my opponent's face, since that does change the clock with the Chief of the Foundry. And remember, we're not dead to Ulamog in 2 attacks, because we do have 47 cards remaining. So what would be a fantabulous top deck? I would say a Ghostfire Blade, since it would let me just kill my opponent. Sanctum of Ugin, sure. Guessing Ugin. Hangerback. Okay. Wait a second. How did that enter the reveal zone? Oh, with the Sanctum, that's right. Exile 20. No blocks. Wild Slash opponent. No redirects. Untap. Sky Spawner. We're so close to lethal here. So close. I think we're just not quite there, though. So let's say I play Chief of the Foundry, tap Chief, Thopter, but I have to sack Scion. I think that's still lethal, right? And we have to do it like this regardless. Look at that victory. Wow. God, this token deck plays well. So we are 4-0 against Eldrazi, which is just insane. This deck plays so well against this. And, I mean, we just beat Ulamog. We just, like, beat the, you know, pretty ideal plays for my opponents. Hangerback's weird in that deck. I'm not going to... That's the first time I've seen Hangerback Walker in that deck. Wow. So far, I mean, 3-0 for this video series, insane. This deck has just been really, really good for me for a long time now, like 27 matches in, and I have won a lot more than I've lost, and I really like how it's sort of put together now. So hope you enjoyed this video series. Check out SeemsGoodMagic.com. Well, this video is on this channel, but also check out the Magic Learning YouTube channel for all of my subscribers. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon.